दोस्तों, अगर आप बाज़ार में अपना पैसा इन्वेस्ट करना चाहते हैं तो अभी जुड़े एंजल ब्रोकिंग के साथ में, क्योंकि यहाँ आपको मिलती है एक अच्छी एडवाइस और भरोसेमंद सर्विस, और यहाँ अकाउंट ओपन करना भी है बिल्कुल फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट। तो आज ही जुड़े एंजल ब्रोकिंग के साथ में। अकाउंट ओपनिंग लिंक डिस्क्रिप्शन में है। आज ही अपना अकाउंट ओपन कराएं।
लेकिन आईटी सेक्टर ये एक स्पेस है जहां पर हमने देखा है कल भी गिरते बाजार में मोमेंटम था। दरअसल आईटी सेक्टर पर इंडस्ट्री बॉडी नैस्कॉम ने अपनी रिपोर्ट पेश की है, जहां पर उन्होंने कहा है कि FY22 में आईटी सेक्टर में पिछले 11 साल यानी कि 2011 से लेकर अब तक सबसे बढ़िया ग्रोथ देखने को मिली है। साथ ही 2026 तक $350 बिलियन की आय यह सेक्टर कमा कर देगा। मेरे साथ जुड़ रहे हैं नैस्कॉम के वाइस चेयरमैन कृष्णन रामानुजम, जो प्रेसिडेंट TCS के भी हैं। मिस्टर रामानुजम, स्वागत है आपका। आपकी कमेंट्री बहुत ही मजबूत रही है, बुलिश है। मुझे बताइए FY23 के लिए ऑन द बैक ऑफ दिस रिपोर्ट ड्राइवर्स क्या होंगे?
Thank you for having me on the channel this morning. And पहले मैं आपको और आपका व्यूअर्स को माफ चाहता हूँ। मेरा हिंदी उतना अच्छा नहीं है, so I'll try and do my best, but I'll answer it in English. I do understand your question. So yes, Nasscom has come out with a very bullish forecast for the year that just went by, as well as the forecast for the future year. We do this based on solid evidence and data. Obviously, we've had an excellent year, but also for the coming year, all the agencies are projecting a very good demand, and we see that on the field as well as we run our business on a day-to-day basis. And even if you look at our CEO survey, 70% plus of the CEOs feel that the coming year is likely to be better than the previous year. And about 20% of them say that it's probably somewhat lower than last year. But even if you give that optically, because FY22 had at least 1 quarter of base effect for most companies, if not 2 or 3. So optically, it may be a percentage point here or there, but substantively, I'm in the camp that the coming year will not only sustain, but will in fact strengthen.
To hear, Mr. Ramanujam, cloud adoption has been very strong पिछले 2 सालों में, especially courtesy COVID. लेकिन अब जैसे जैसे पैंडेमिक टेपर हो रहा है, कुछ लोगों में डर है शायद ये स्केल अडॉप्शन का नहीं देखने को मिलेगा। इस पर Nasscom की क्या फाइंडिंग्स हैं?
No, I wouldn't call it. It will not sustain in terms of adoption. Cloud adoption is irreversible in our opinion, in my opinion. Clearly, we are at the early stages of the cloud adoption cycle. And now taking my Nasscom hat for a minute and then wearing my TCS hat, we articulate our cloud point of view in 3 dimensions, right? The first one is the fairly basic elements of gaining the advantages of a cloud, which is about lift and shift, cost advantages, best-in-class infrastructure, security, resilience, and what have you, right? And that is the phase we are in for the most part. But that is basically the foundation. Even there, we would estimate it to be somewhere around 30-35% of the overall workloads have only moved. We still have a substantial way to go. The only question is, the remaining, let's say that last 20% will be very difficult to move to the cloud. The remaining, say 40-50%, how long does it take? Does it take just 2 or 3 years, or is it going to take longer than that is the key question.
Okay.
That is what will determine whether optically the street sees the adoption as being very fast. But again, more substantively, once the foundation phase is over is when companies can really launch onto their true business transformation initiatives, and that will be another cycle.
आप बेसिकली कह रहे हैं कि यहाँ से जो अडॉप्ट हो चुका है अब उसको और मैक्सिमाइज किया जाएगा, यूटिलाइजेशन फिर क्लाउड का बेहतर होते दिखाई देंगे, कम नहीं होगा। आपकी रिपोर्ट में टैलेंट की बढ़ते जरूरत की बात की है, स्पेशली हाई क्वालिटी टैलेंट। और एक चीज हमने देखी है, 3rd क्वार्टर में मोस्ट ऑफ द आईटी कंपनीज अट्रिशन 20% तक भी जाता हुआ दिखाई दिया था, बारिंग एन एक्सेप्शन ऑफ अ फ्यू। क्या ये अट्रिशन की क्राइसिस पीक कर चुकी है?
So I certainly am of that view, Harshada. Again, I say that on the basis of data that I see. If you go back to the Q3 results that most companies put out, or at least the top companies put out, there were many who talked about the attrition trend kind of plateauing, if not declining. And we see that in TCS as well. So combining all of these, I hope I am not too optimistic, but I do remain optimistic that we have probably seen the worst of the peak in terms of attrition, and things should probably get better from here on. Again, the question is, how soon will it come back to being normal? That's probably some time away. But I would say that probably it's going to get incrementally better over the next few quarters.
क्योंकि कोई स्पेसिफिक क्वार्टर नहीं कह रहे हैं, फिर मैं ये अज्यूम कर रही हूँ that companies will continue to sweat under the attrition worry.
If you look at it, Harshada, the companies are sweating very heavily. Maybe they'll sweat a little less. But coming back to normal, if you will, that's probably a few quarters away.
The new tech area, the new hot points, Mr. Ramanujam, Metaverse, Web3, क्या वहाँ पर demand अब pick up होने लगा है?
So definitely those are very important areas with a lot of possibilities, Harshada. Obviously very early in the cycle right now. But again, I would go back to my point about cloud, right? All of these concepts, whether it's Web 3.0, Metaverse, all of them are becoming possible because of the cloud foundation, right? So when you asked about whether the cloud adoption will sustain, if Metaverse picks up, that is because the cloud foundation already exists, right? In many ways, even the savviness of many people, employees in the companies, they become savvy about doing things online as opposed to in person. A lot of those things will play a part in the adoption of Metaverse and Web 3.0 and so on. So yes, we remain very bullish, but very early days, probably a couple of years before these start seeing real solid enterprise-grade use cases.
TCS इस सेक्टर पर बुलिश है क्या? ये एक सेक्टर है जहां पर TCS बड़े पैमाने पर इन्वेस्ट करेगा और क्या ये एक क्षेत्र है जहां पर ज्यादा एक्सपेरिमेंट स्टार्टअप्स ही करेंगे?
No. Again, TCS already has proofs of concept live. In fact, for one of our major clients in the retail space in North America, we already have a Metaverse pilot ready. Obviously, it's a proof of concept and not a full-blown project. So there is a fair bit of investment. It's a very big part of some of our R&D investments. So we already see some of them going live, and it will definitely pick up. But with all of that said, for it to really turn a corner and become mainstream, that's probably at least a year or two away, in my opinion.
बहुत शुक्रिया हमारे लिए समय निकालने के लिए मिस्टर रामानुजम. प्लेजर स्पीकिंग टू यू एंड ऑल द वेरी बेस्ट. एक बेहतर साल आने की उम्मीद जो गाइडेंस नास्कॉम की ओर से आया है. FY22 में 15.5% तक की ग्रोथ देखने को मिली है सेक्टर में और ये तेजी का सिलसिला जारी रहेगा.